Australia formally recognised the State of Palestine on 21 September 2025. This isn't a vague statement or symbolic nod. The government says it's conditional on the Palestinian Authority making major commitments: no role for Hamas, demilitarization, elections, recognition of Israel. What's remarkable is how this departs from decades of Australian foreign policy. For years, recognition of Palestine was tied to a peace deal, after negotiations, after agreements. Now, recognition is being used as a lever, earlier than many expected. But this is only the beginning. Opposition parties erupted. Jewish groups in Australia condemned it. Polls show large portions of the public believe this move is premature and risky. Critics argue hostages are still held. Hamas still controls Gaza. They say recognition now gives propaganda victories, reduces pressure for meaningful demands. Some call it rewarding bad behaviour. Even within Labour, there are whispers. Not everyone is convinced this gamble will pay off, but many believe the government saw a political opening they couldn't pass up. What do foreign powers think of this? Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu didn't hold back. He described Australia's shift as weakness, betrayal. He claims recognition under current conditions undermines Israel's security and aids Hamas's narrative. Many of his statements are pointed, personal too. Australia has been labelled as siding with rhetoric over responsibility. But does that reflect real diplomatic breakdowns or headlines? Next, we turn to the wider world. Australia has long presented itself as a rules-based nation, a middle power that punches above its weight diplomatically. But some foreign policy experts warn this recognition could complicate alliances. There's concern in the US and within international circles. Does this signal Australia acting unilaterally? Will intelligence sharing suffer? Will trust be dented? While I found no verified source confirming a collapse of intelligence cooperation, opinion articles are already making that case. Rumours swirl about diplomatic memos advising caution. Could the backlash internally be matched by consequences abroad? Albanese and Foreign Minister Penny Wong insist recognition is grounded in principle. They say the moral scale has tipped. They argue there are urgent humanitarian costs from ongoing conflict. Waiting forever, they say, is no longer tenable. They also emphasise the provisos: democracy, demilitarisation, recognition of Israel, and elections. Australia claims it is not recognising a terrorist group. The intention is to support moderate Palestinian leadership and bring more leverage to diplomacy. These conditions are central. But what if they aren't met? Recognition before concrete guarantees risks symbolic backlash. It may embolden Hamas's propaganda, as opponents claim. It could weaken Australia's hand in pushing for Israel's security concerns, or in negotiations about borders, refugees, governance. There's also a risk of being out of step with allies who demand stricter benchmarks. Polling data suggests domestic political fallout, Labour backbenchers uneasy, public trust slipping. Meanwhile, international criticism is loud. Some countries see Australia's move as aligning with international human rights norms. Others see it as a diplomatic misstep. If any of the PA's commitments fail, the government may face accusations of broken promise. Some voices are now saying secret advice from diplomats and advisors was that this recognition should be delayed. They claim warnings were ignored. These leaks haven't been substantiated, as far as reliable sources go. But the existence of public statements opposing the timing is verified. Others say the government saw rising public pressure and escalating protests and felt politically boxed in. Act now or lose narrative. That this recognition is more political calculation than purely moral leadership. Whether that's true or not, it drives much of the anger. This moment isn't just foreign policy. It's a test of how much Australians trust leadership to balance moral, strategic, and security concerns. When does principle cross into recklessness? When does early action become abandoning leverage? Australia's identity on the world stage is being reshaped. Will other countries see us as bold and morally consistent? Or as idealistic, acting without full strategy? The truth is likely somewhere in between. Australia has made a bold move. Recognition of Palestine is historic, but bold doesn't always mean right. The costs, diplomatic, political, moral, might be high. We may look back and ask, did we act in principle or in politics? Now I want to know from you, do you think this is betrayal or bravery? Comment your view. Are Albanese and Wong reckless, or finally doing what many believe is overdue? If you watched so far, hit the like button if this felt different from what you hear on the news. And share this with someone who deserves to see the whole picture. Because at the end, it's not just about foreign policy. It's about our trust in those who lead, and whether they still put principle above politics.